The scientific evidence is there. There is no longer any dispute. It's not just the scientific evidence. We're seeing it around us. We're seeing more and more climatic catastrophes on this planet at the moment than we've ever seen. And yes, we know that the climate always changes, but it's the rate at which it's changing now that is going to affect, unfortunately, the poor on the planet. And here in our continent, Africa will be the most adversely affected by global warming.
Jeunesse Park established Food and Trees for Africa in 1990, and since then the organisation has planted more than 2.3 million trees in the country's poorest urban and rural communities.
I would arrive at a place, an agreed place, where the community had actually requested the trees and get out and teach everything around the environment through trees.
We want to try to use all of these trees to make an urban forest to address global warming.
17 years ago when FTFA was founded, in fact it was Trees for Africa, not Food and Trees for Africa then. It was an unknown concept. People didn't think about planting trees to improve their environment. In South Africa particularly, we are a dry country. We've experienced recently large fires. I think most people now appreciate that we have to do something about global warming.
As early as 1990, FTFA realised that tree planting could assist in the lessening of climate change. For families living in townships, trees provide shade, prevent soil erosion, act as wind barriers, and enable the community to be more environmentally aware.
We were coming out of the dark days of apartheid, which had certainly, amongst many other terrible things, had divided people or separated people from the land, the majority of people in South Africa. And again, the trees and the tree planting and the greening was a way of reconnecting people with the earth, with the land, with themselves. Take ownership of your own space first, and then you can start to look out and see what you can do about the bigger space and eventually the planet.
When we came, it was like a desert, no tree, no plant, nothing. It was just a dry land. But because of them, they are there to give us some workshop and how to grow plants, trees, and it's how we learned from them. They taught us how to to plant. We didn't even know how to plant trees, but we've learned, and today we are experts.
We are motivating and inspiring and encouraging schools across South Africa to understand the environment, to understand sustainable development, starting to understand climate change, and most importantly, for the circumstances and the situations they find themselves in, how to address food security and improved health.
No to water pollution, no to deforestation, no to artificial fertilizers, save water, no to burning of fuels, reduce global warming, reduce poverty. Thank you.
And so I've actually over the 13 years seen the generational shift and the movement on through this program myself. So I know that it works, it's easily replicable, it can be replicated right throughout the third world, and we think it should be.
From the 130 schools entering this year's EDUPLANT programme, judges have selected 1 educator and 3 learners from each of the 63 finalist schools. Learners present their school gardening projects to the judges and attend gardening and creative workshops.
In our garden we grow spinach, cauliflower, parsley, onion,
Sweet potatoes, cassava, carrots, spinach, cabbages and pumpkins.
I like gardening because it's relaxing and we learn a lot, and it's wonderful to work in the garden.
I think what you're seeing out here in terms of the exhibits and artifacts that have been produced is a deliberate attempt to ensure that learners become aware of the consequences and implications of global warming and how you could relate food security, your environment, to this particular challenge. They are the future leaders, they are the future generation, and if there is a lack of awareness on the part of our children, then we will not be able to overcome this challenge.
We need to communicate at a level that's going to make sense to people. And I think it's not just for the township communities. When we go into schools, we have to talk about what's going to affect the child immediately. And when we go into boardrooms, we need to talk about the same thing. How is global warming going to affect your business in the next 5 years?
We in fact celebrated our 10-year anniversary here in South Africa last year, and to mark the occasion we had a large client event, a gala dinner, and we wanted to make the event carbon neutral, so we decided to partner with Food and Trees for Africa to offset all the carbon which the event generated. The heart of carbon trading is financial markets, so it's not all about trees and turning lights off. There's actually a business proposition that institutions can capitalise on.
It's just blown off in the wind. And also this has got more nutritional value in it. Okay, it's a bigger organic matter. Okay, and it breaks down slowly. So like I said earlier, it's almost like alchemy. We're going to be changing the contents of the soil.
I can proudly say that everybody who's worked at the organization has learned so much. Part of that comes from being a small organization and everybody having to do everything and learn everything. But without this fantastic group of really dedicated and incredibly hardworking people, we couldn't have achieved what we've achieved. And in the addressing of global warming, this is not something that I can address or a country can address on its own. It's something that's affecting us all, that will affect us all more and more negatively and disastrously as time goes on. And that unless we come together as a species, as humans, we're not going to be able to fight this thing.